Today I'm going to replace a high pressure AC hose on a 2003 Nissan Xterra. The tools you will need are a socket wrench. This is 12 millimeter deep socket wrench with a good breaker bar, pliers, Phillips head screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, possibly an extension. This is the part I got from my local auto store. I did not go OEM for this. This is $50 cheaper than the OEM, but I think it'll work just fine. It does come with additional O-rings. There are O-rings already. I don't know if you can see that in the package under the caps. I've already removed the air filter cover. There's 4 clips here, compression clips. You'll remove it from the intake and just place it very gently because of this hose. The older vehicles, it gets to be pretty complicated to try to remove all this stuff, but if you can just get it out of the way is the idea here. So I did disconnect these 2 hoses, just removed with the pliers, pulled them back, and this way you can just pull on the hose to disconnect and it'll allow you to reassemble much quicker. Just to note, there is some kind of interesting, if you can see that, it looks like a little, there it is, you can see this here, that stays in there, don't remove that. Some kind of filter device. What you want to remove, there's a nut under the pipe here. Try and get better lighting. Okay, do you see it now better? This little nut right under there, that's 12 millimeter. That's what you want to remove that. And then on the top here, right there, this nut is also 12 millimeter. Okay, I sprayed them both generously yesterday with PB Blaster to loosen them. Okay, see how I have this set up. Kind of hard to do this with one hand, but to give you an idea, I just took my time and slowly broke this free. And once you got it started, it's much easier. Just work that out. Yeah, I got it out to a point. I'm gonna just keep working it with my hands at this point. I don't want to drop it. Okay. Let's see. Careful. There we go. Got it. Alright, and I'll spray that generously before I put that back in. There's a washer. Okay. Alright. Here it is. Same thing. Let's compare the 2 of them. These are the 2 bolts I removed. This is the one on the engine, and this one is the one closer to the front of the car. They look to be about the same length. I don't see much of a difference. Maybe you see something, but I don't see much of a difference in length. Okay, now that that's taken off, let's see how hard this is to remove. There might be something holding it. Oh, okay. You can expect that. A little air pressure. I did have the AC completely evac, so I'm gonna do this very quickly. That's that green dye, so that was a good seal there. I'm gonna try pulling on this one over here. to remove that and unhook that. Okay, I did use a little bit of a screwdriver to get in on the top here to pull on it. And you can see there's a hook on the bottom of this thing. And you have to kind of, I hope you can see down there. Hard to do with this with one hand, but swing it out. There you go. So a little hook right down here hooks into that bar. All right, I'm going to do this quickly so lessen the air in the system. You can see the O-ring it came with on both ends, and this is the old O-ring. So I think it's just a quick, easy install to get it back in. So what you have to do is fish it under this thing here. Alright, so I'm gonna have to put down the phone again. Sorry. Let me see. We'll get this started. And then you can swing it up into position. Put this part in first, this end. It went in very easily. Just push it right in. That was no problem. I swung this up and hooked this. Now I'm ready to push this in here. Get this into position. There we go. And squeeze it in there until it's flush. You can see it's flush there. And now basically I just have to put the bolts back in. And this is how it works. This thing moves, gives you a lot more room to get that tube around there, that hose. And I'll give you a look at what it looks like. Straight down, how it's positioned. Sorry about the lighting, but it comes right up underneath and connects. And now I just have to put the bolts back in and really tighten them down good. So I really don't know why there's extra O-rings in there. I don't see a difference in the diameter or the thickness. And I'm just gonna squirt some PB Blaster on these two before I reassemble. I just always try to start the threads by hand. Make sure you get a good, you don't strip it. Make sure you get a good thread started. And just tighten it down by hand before you use your tools to really get it in there. This one's a little tricky to get it started. I'm gonna hold it with one thumb and maybe just start twisting, see if you get it in there. You can feel it if it's going in correctly. And just give it a couple twists. There we go. And I'll tighten it up with the wrench. Tighten down. I just have to put this air handler back in. And I think this project took me less than a half an hour to complete. If you have the right tools and the right parts, you should be good to go. I think that was pretty easy. Just make sure the AC is evacuated completely. There's a lot of pressure in this system. Okay, you'll see that this has a regular clamp for me. I need a flathead for this. I needed a Phillips for this one and get it on this tube. And then the 4 clamps, the compression clamps, one there, one up top, one over here on top, and then one in the back. They're just spring loaded. Just pop in, lift up, and snap it back on. Okay, and then all I have left are these 2 hoses. Get that back on there, and this one. There you go, all the way in. And then I'll get my pliers to squeeze that back on, and we're done.